the Daily Tech Show. I'm your host, John Myer, and typically I do a separate intro to get everyone hyped for the upcoming podcast. But I think this announcement can't get any more exciting. Today, we have Sandy Carter joining us as a returning guest for breaking news following the Block announcement of her next adventure. Now, folks, before we bring on Sandy, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and notify. All right, folks, please join me in welcoming Sandy Carter, VP of... wait a second. Sandy just announced she's leaving AWS. Let's find out where she's going. Sandy, thanks for joining the show.
Thank you so much, John. It's great to see you on video after getting to see you live at reInvent. What a great show that was.
That was especially awesome. And then, in fact, it feels like we were just there. Actually, we were. And I feel like I was just watching your leadership talk with special guest Fred Swaniker.
Yeah, Fred knocked it out of the park talking about the partnership we did with African Leadership Group and AWS. That was really, for me, one of the top announcements that we featured at reInvent.
All right. So before I get to some takeaways from that session, what does it feel like having reInvent in person since 2019?
Oh, it was so amazing. It was actually electrifying, right? The energy level was all pumped up, not just from the employees at AWS, but also from all the customers and partners. I mean, it was awesome. I think it took them a little bit of time to get into the rhythm. I noticed on day one, people looked around like, should we clap? Or, oh no, we don't clap on Zoom. Oh wait, we're not on Zoom. But I think as the time the week went on, everybody got used to being back in person again.
Actually, I remember from, I think it was the Global Partner Summit, or was it the leadership where you said you were going to get the biggest clap or the loudest clap? You had a bet.
Yeah. I had a bet with Steve Orban and Doug Hume, and I won the bet. Yeah, we did the biggest clap because people weren't clapping that loud. And our assumption behind the scenes was that people were, they don't clap on Zoom. And so we thought, oh, people are out of practice. So that's why I came out and gave them the big challenge.
Normally, and I've attended a couple of the keynotes when I was at AWS, and you were the cheerleaders, you were the cheering squad, the clap and kind of get everybody. And I don't think they really had those this year due to the limited capacity that they're having. And just like you said, when you're on Zoom, people just put up the emoji of clapping and they actually don't do it because it's going to be. So I think you're right, but you got everybody back into the rhythm.
Yeah, that's right. And that was so fun. People were so energized. I really loved it. I love seeing all my customers and my partners.
So I got two things that I took away from your leadership session. One, I took note of 3 Ds from destination, data, delivery, and how you like things in 3.
I love things in 3s. It's easy to remember. And I think most people, if you give them 7 or 9, it's just not consumable. So I like to do 3s if I can.
One thing that is off the topic, I did note again that you've been to 87 different countries and 87 different McDonald's.
That's right. In fact, what happens, John, is when I travel, I love to really try out all the local food. But then after I'm there for a while, I just want like an American burger. And where can you get that at? I still remember once I was in Munich and I had all this amazing German food. And then one day I was on the train and we were going by and, you could just pull the cord and you can get off anywhere. And I saw McDonald's and I pulled that cord and I ran off to go get McDonald's. It's also fun to see all the local stuff they do. They do have the typical Big Mac and fries, which I love, but they also have all of this unique local flavor as well at the McDonald's. So for example, gelato in Italy is quite good at McDonald's, believe it or not.
I'm going to have to try that when I make my first trip there. I did take a look at Twitter, but I didn't find it. I think it's taken. Big Mac Mama was the title that you put out of the Twitter. So I apologize. If I can find it for you, I will claim it and you can have it.
Thank you so much. That would be awesome.
The last thing that I took away from your leadership session was a guest speaker, Fred Swaniker, who announced theroom.com to help businesses connect with top talent. I thought he was really interesting to talk to, and I'm looking forward to eventually having him on the show.
Oh man, he is amazing. He is probably, John, one of the most incredible people I've ever talked to. He has dedicated his life to ethical leadership and entrepreneurship in Africa and now beyond. Super smart. I love the way he's got his program set up. first he set it up non-digital to where he paired awesome talent with a talent agent. He got this idea from thinking about Brad Pitt. Well, Brad Pitt has a talent agent who decides which movies, how should Brad look and dress, and what should Brad do. And he's like, well, why don't I do that for the talented folks that exist in Africa? Give them a talent agent. And of course, he outgrew that very quickly. It's not as scalable, right? And so that's why he came up with the Room, which is that real scalable digital model that can connect a talent agent with someone who is super talented, advise them on, do this TED Talk. You've got to meet with John Myer. You've got to take this job. And then, your second or third job needs to be in this space, can really advise and guide them along. And one of our visions is someday that'll be an Alexa skill, right? And you can go in there and you can say, okay, what should I do next to enhance what I want to do with my career? And they'll say, oh, go give a TED Talk on empathy, or go give a TED Talk on blockchain, or whatever that subject might be.
Okay, I see some collaboration happening. And if you thought I was energetic, you should talk to Fred, because he by far definitely, brings up the room, how he speaks, how he carries himself. And I can't wait to have him on the show. I think we're going to have some great conversations.
I completely agree. He's a very dynamic speaker. He holds your attention, and he's got a lot of content. He's got a lot to say, right? He's not one of those who you walk away going, he was a great speaker, but what did I take away? You go away from Fred thinking he is a great speaker, and I got amazing things both in business and in life from him. He's awesome.
I couldn't agree more. Folks, hang tight. We are going to announce where Sandy Carter is going next, but I got a couple more information that I want to share with everyone. Sandy, while we were at reInvent, we had the chance to quickly get together so I could actually give you the swag that you requested. I hope you like it.
I loved my pink shirt. In fact, I would be wearing it, but it's in the dirty clothes right now. So
don't worry. Yes, mine are still there from reInvent. Trust me. I'm still getting settled in, and it's only been a couple days.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you so much. It made me happy because me, I always wear pink. Pink is like my brand. Although today I'm in blue for a special reason.
Yes. We're giving subtle hints throughout the show. If you pay attention closely, you might get to some of those. I did have Sandy change her background because we couldn't spoil it right away.
That's right.
So Sandy, while we were talking, I mentioned that I heard you were leaving, and our conversation, while it was short, you actually asked me, would I announce it for where you're going to next? I have to tell you, I'm completely honored. So thank you.
Well, another AWS alum, we have to stick together as we go forward. AWS teaches you so much, and you take it with you wherever you go. And we'll always be AWS alum. We'll always be connected to AWS as we go forward. So who better to do this, on video following the block announcement than you?
All right. Thank you. I really appreciate it. All right, folks, hang on. I'm going to get there in just 1 second. But I have to tell you, Sandy, I've been following your career, and you've been a mentor to me, whether you know it or not. Okay. And I have to tell you that it feels like you're unstoppable, which is really inspiring.
Well, thank you, John. I really appreciate it. And I have to say, I did a LinkedIn post announcing my departure, and I was overwhelmed. So far, I had 550,000 people view the article with thousands and thousands of comments. I'm trying to get through all of them. Just to express how much I appreciated everybody reaching out to me, making kind comments, wishing me well. It was very heart touching, I have to say.
Well, speaking of your LinkedIn post, you put on 9 things that, the top 9 things that you've learned while at AWS. Do you mind if we quickly go over them? Don't worry, folks, we're getting there. But I think this is important to understand Sandy and where she was and where she's going in her adventure.
Yeah, let's do it. So this is 3 groups of 3. If you notice my theme of 3.
Well, I didn't notice it at first, but now I can't get it. That's perfect. All right. So Sandy, you mentioned failure is a big learning moment. Let's explain that.
Yeah. At every other company, I was asked to present my best practices and what we had done to achieve success. And one of the first lessons I learned from Amazon is that they really take to heart that failure is a good thing. You learn so much. And in fact, it came to light when in the first 6 months, I had done something that was not correct. It was a pretty big failure. And I was asked to present on that failure so that others could not make the same mistake I did. It was really tough, I have to say, John. It's the first time in my career I've ever done that. It was freeing. I couldn't believe the comments. I felt everybody was going to view me as a failure, but in fact, they celebrated me as being bold and courageous. So for me, it was very impactful.
That's one of the, I have many things that I love about AWS. And that's one of the things while working there is that you're not afraid to fail. They actually encourage failure. An example of this is, you remember the Amazon Fire Phone, right? That was a huge failure, but what came out of that was Alexa. So think of the lessons learned through your failure.
But you have to learn from it. So it's not just about failing. What they really emphasize is that you fail and you learn, and then you share those learnings with others and you keep those with you so that when you go forward, you may make another mistake, but you don't make that same mistake again.
I agree. Thanks for correcting me on that. Okay, let's talk about customer obsession, because this is one of AWS's leadership principles, or Amazon's leadership principles. It's real inside of AWS. I agree with that wholehearted statement.
Yeah. And it was interesting because I had a lot of comments on the LinkedIn post going, yeah, you knew that before. I did, but I didn't have that mechanism, and it wasn't spread throughout the entire company. Truly, inside of AWS, it's everywhere. So myself as a VP, my first service that I got to announce at a reInvent, I spent time with 141 customers and partners. That was just me. That wasn't my team. So you can just see how important that direct connection to customers really is.
Do you remember what that first service was?
Oh, yeah. I'll never forget it. It was the AWS License Manager.
Ah, okay.
Brand spanking new service. And it actually still is being used today and is very dynamic. It's not like super sexy like AI and ML, but super needed, very highly rated by our customers. One of the top 3 service announcements at that reInvent, believe it or not.
That's also that you still remember it. Okay. Narratives are equalizers.
Yeah, I love this because at other companies, people come in and they present a PowerPoint. And then, people might interrupt you on slide 2 and you're like, oh, that's coming up on slide 11. Some people get it right away. Others don't. So when you read a narrative, and you know this, John, you read 6 pages, everybody gets on the same page. The highest ranking person in the room speaks last. So you hear all voices that are not influenced by any level or title. And I think that's just an amazing way to eliminate some of the unconscious bias that exists out there. And the fact that, a lot of people, they'll hear what their boss says and then they'll just agree versus expressing your opinion before you hear from the boss. I love the whole process.
Yes. I wrote my first few narratives early on at AWS, and it took a little bit to write it, but I didn't feel, afraid to share it because everybody was doing, that's how it was. And you got to speak. And I love how the highest ranking speaks last, because I agree with you, because a lot of people will go to one side, and here you heard everybody else's, and your boss had a chance to hear everybody in the room and their opinion and their side of the story. Okay. The next one, to go fast, sometimes you have to slow down.
Yeah. I got this from Teresa Carlson, who's one of my favorite leaders ever. It is really, really important. Amazon has this 2-way door, 1-way door. 2-way doors, you're going to move really fast because you can reverse the decision. But when it's a 1-way door, like you're going to change an API and it's going to be there forever, you really have to slow down and really think and collaborate with lots of people. And that was a big learning for me, because no matter what other company I was at, every decision was at the same rate and pace. So big companies, everything was slow. Startups, everything was fast. I really love this differentiation that sometimes to go fast on those 1-way door decisions, you do have to slow down.
Most decisions are reversible, so it's okay to go fast. That's something that is definitely, you feel that when you're at AWS. All right. So the next one, number 5, people. Can you explain that?
Oh, man. Yeah. So Amazon has a leadership principle called hire and develop the best. I did hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of loops, which is our interview process. And then I helped develop the very best. And they put such a high premium on that as a leader. It's one of the top things that you're rated on. And I love that. I've always loved my people and my teams. Probably my favorite team was the last team I managed at AWS. I just love my team. And I think, that whole focus on people becoming the Earth's most employee-centric organization is really a big one that every company should copy.
That's one of their latest leadership principles that they added within the past year. So that it's very interesting to see that one come about. When it first came out, everybody was like, well, what is this? What does this really mean? But I've heard it from Francesca Vasquez. I've heard it coming from you, and you really start to understand why they added this as part of their leadership principles.
Absolutely.
Okay. Growth is a powerful motivator.
Oh my gosh. We're just growing all the time at AWS. And it's exhilarating, right? You're not having to worry about, okay, how do I have to retool people or skill sets? How do I have to squeeze this much into a small amount? That growth just gives you motivation and inspiration. When I started, our revenue was 3.6 billion a quarter. When I left, of course, that was third quarter. I left in fourth quarter, but third quarter, we were already at 16 billion a quarter. So you can just see that magnificent growth rate, and it just drives such inspiration in the teams.
All right. Number 7, purpose matters.
Yeah, especially right now, changing history and having, being a difference maker is what it's all about. If you look today, people are looking for something other than just making money. And for me, my public sector service was one of the best areas we could possibly be in. I worked with customers who measured ROL, return on life, making a difference in hospitals and healthcare, space, synthesizing oxygen on Mars. And those things really matter. They matter to how you feel about your job, your fulfillment personally. And I think that purpose really does. Maybe it even ranks number 1. Maybe it should have been number 7. Maybe it should have been number 1.
So I got a disclaimer. I didn't know if you ranked these in order. I was just going to say any order you were just listing them. So we'll put that disclaimer because they can be moved around based off of how you feel, your personal preference. But I think these are very valuable. And jumping to number 8, which kind of resonates with me, storytelling is a superpower.
Yes. And, a lot of times, if I look at some of the ratings that I got for speaking at reInvent, people would call out, I loved your stories. And one of my favorite quotes is, tell me the facts and I'll believe, but tell me a story and it will live in my heart forever. And that's what I believe. I believe that storytelling is a powerful motivator. And even Jeff Bezos said, you can have the best technology, the best business model, but if you don't have amazing storytelling, it doesn't matter. So don't forget how to tell a story.
This is something that I continuously strive to daily. So it really sits with me, is that telling that story in the beginning, captivating that audience, they'll remember the story. Stories have been told for hundreds and thousands of years. And this is really good. That's actually a good number 8. Number 9, leadership principle, think big.
Yeah. And it's funny because many people in the comments on my LinkedIn post said that one should have been number 1 because that was your superpower, Sandy. Questioning everything, taking a radical approach, looking at things differently is something that I thrive on. We did so many things that were experiments that worked that we just doubled down in. You have to question assumptions. You have to pursue that best idea. And for me, think big is one of my very favorite leadership principles.
Okay, so going off of think big, I think now is the big moment everybody's been waiting for. Where is Sandy going? All right, Sandy, how about we do the big reveal here? Where's your next adventure?
So my next adventure is going to be at a Web 3.0 company, and the company's name is Unstoppable. Unstoppable. And Unstoppable, I'm going to be the SVP and channel chief for all of the new relationships that we're forming, because in Web 3.0, those partnerships are absolutely crucial. I am really excited and very blessed that Matt Gold, the CEO, and Matt M selected me to take on this very important assignment.
Congratulations, Sandy. So obviously you are unstoppable. I think this domain fits your personality, the think big aspect of it and what is next and really striving towards it. So congratulations on this role.
Thank you so much, John. I'm so excited. I did love AWS. So AWS is a fabulous company. If you're thinking about going there, do it. It is worth it. You'll learn so much. But I'm really excited to enter back into the startup world, being even more scrappy and more think big and more experimentation as we move forward.
All right. So Sandy, real quick before we wrap things up, why and what can we expect out of this role? What are some of those trends that you're seeing?
So I have 6 trends.
Wait, 2 groups of 3.
3 plus 3 again. So the first one is, John, Web 3.0 companies are exploding. Unstoppable is one of those rare startups that was profitable in year 1. We have not gone IPO, tremendous growth, just exceptional growth. I do believe that Web 3.0 is the future. So number 2, we're going to be shaping the future with NFTs. You know, Web 3.0 is all about this ownership economy where users own their own data and the economic rewards associated with it. So for me, the future of NFTs, of Web 3.0 and the digital economy, we believe that people should benefit from the value that they create. Reason number 3, communities, not users. And I don't know if you know my history, but I have been a big community builder. A female gaming committee, a community around AI and ML, and now this community that we have here around Web 3.0. You know, Web 2.0 was about users. Web 3.0 is about members. Reason number 4, I think crypto is really getting easier and more welcoming to people into the metaverse. And Unstoppable is making it easier for crypto payments and consolidating login and creating NFT galleries and just so much more. And in fact, you are in Vegas, and we saw that the Wynn Hotel was accepting crypto payments. That was pretty awesome. And Miami just declared that they want to be the crypto city, the best of the best of the best in the United States. So I thought that was interesting. Number 5, you guys will guess, but diversity matters. And right now, you know, Web 3.0, we need to be very inclusive for that future. I do want to set the example that this space accepts all and that you have to see it to be it. So that's one of my goals too, to set up women of Web 3.0. And then finally, last but not least, number 6, you know, you need a great CEO to really weave that narrative to drive profitable and successful companies. And I have to tell you, I am so impressed with the CEO of Unstoppable, Matt Gold. He is just he's just awesome. He's just a good person, wicked smart, and has really done this before with startups, as well as what we call the other Matt, the Matt M, who is just wicked smart, as well as leading companies, understanding a lot of those business development patterns. So I am so excited to be joining Unstoppable. I'll take all those great lessons from AWS and hopefully create and change a whole new Web 3.0 future.
So Sandy, I'm really excited that you're able to share this news on my show, Behind the Block. This is huge. And you know what? The domain name Unstoppable and all your energy suits you completely. I can't wait to see what comes out next, what you post next that's happening in the world, within blockchain, within the domains. This is amazing. And your next adventure is very inspiring.
Well, thank you, John. And I have to tell you, I do have a little gift for all of your listeners. Ooh. I'm going to give $100 in credits so that you can experience Web 3.0 for yourself. There will be a form. Hopefully you can put that up on the video. And if you fill in that, just like I got sandy.nft, you can get john.nft, john.crypto. There's so many choices. Make sure you sign up and don't be left behind in this new Web 3.0 economy.
Wow. Okay. First of all, this is a surprise, folks. It's going to be a link in the description below. I will include it. Thank you, Sandy. This is awesome.
You are welcome, John.
Oh, man. Well, that was definitely a surprise. All right, folks, you heard it here behind the block. Sandy's announcement on her next adventure at Unstoppable Domains. Sandy, thank you for giving me this opportunity to announce your new role.
Thank you so much, John. Thanks for being so excited about it. And I hope to see you out in the Web 3.0 metaverse.
Absolutely. All right, folks, this has been the Daily Tech Show. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and notify, because guess what? We're out of here.